Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, I hope you enjoy your time here. Today's video is a review of the first 7 days of this year's Inktober challenge, with a bit about each drawing, and how my progress of being the first time I've used ink in this particular way. Like, I've used pens and textures and markers and all that, but I haven't actually used a paintbrush and ink from a bottle before. And the information on the tools that I will be using will be a link in the description. Day 1's prompt was poisonous, which was pretty easy in terms of ideas. I ended up with a poisonous frog, which pretty colorful frog because colorful colors, on a poisonous mushroom, but it ended up being 3 little mushrooms instead of just 1 mushroom. Now the frog was a bit of a challenge to figure out because I usually don't draw frogs. I'm usually drawing dragons and things like that, not frogs. But after a bit of figuring out its pose, I got it to look quite nice sitting on the 3 mushrooms. The first thing I tried was laying out the water on the paper and adding the ink, so it mixed itself, like blended the colors itself into the water, which it worked quite a bit, but it took ages to dry. But the result was a really nice faded kind of look, and I ended up going over the top with some darker ink to shade it out. I also played around with shadowing and adding extra water to the ink in an individual tray to lighten the ink to see how far it would go within shading terms, especially to the mushrooms. Now once the whole thing dried, after a few hours, I went around the edges with a really inky black pen and then a white gel pen for highlights, just till it made it pop a bit more. And then, as my first proper go at inking, I felt pretty proud of the result. It looked really nice. The day 2 prompt was Tranquil, which at first I wasn't too sure what to do, but then I thought, well, a vacation is pretty tranquil, you're calm and relaxing and whatever. So I ended up doing the most relaxing thing you could think of in Australia, which is sitting on a beach with a chair in the sun under an umbrella. Well, I didn't exactly draw a person in the chair, but it was the idea of the chair and the beach with the umbrella and the beach ball. Now for this one, I mostly played with darks and lights and different amounts of ink and water, so I was just still fiddling around, experimenting with the medium. But I accidentally did the rug a bit too yellow and it still looks like sand, which kind of sucks. But, experimentation is experimentation. You gotta try it before you get pro at it. So yeah. Now just like day 1 and even all the days from past to future, I go over it with black inky lines and white highlights to make it look really poppy. Day 3's prompt was roasted, so for ages I didn't know what to do because, as again, I usually draw dragons and a dragon would be great for this sort of prompt, but I kind of avoided that theme of things. I ended up using roasting marshmallows as my theme, and I chose a fox because it was I don't know, a fox is like an animal that would, you'd find out camping or whatever. And this little fox was roasting marshmallows. And foxes can also have blue-gray fur. So the blue that I had really suited that sort of thing. And because I only had 3 colors, which was blue, yellow, and green, red wasn't one of them, so I had to use blue as the hottest part of the flame, so the middle of the flame. Kind of like when you're in science and the blue means it's really ultra hot in the Bunsen burner. But yeah. The day 4 prompt was spell. So the instant thing I thought was a spell book or a scroll or some sort of thing that you could cast magic from. So, sadly enough, the camera was out of focus the whole time. I didn't even know until I'd finished. Probably because I had to swap out the battery like halfway through, and it just sucks. But sorry about the blur. Anyways, the spell book is lit up because someone is casting the spell with magic, and the letters on the left page are yellow because that's the lit up part of the spell, like the action of the spell being cast. And there are also some spiders hanging around the book, which I called spell spiders, which I made that spiders feed off spell magic, like, magic being cast and stuff. So it kind of added that extra thing about this magic. And I used a lot less water for this one as like a test thing, and it gave it a much more brighter, vibrant look to it. Day 5, the prompt was chicken, which there's no really other explanation. You got to draw a chicken for the prompt chicken. So I was originally going to draw a chicken in a chicken suit, but that was a little bit too complicated for the amount of time I had. So I ended up drawing a chicken wearing a random green shirt, eating a drumstick, because like, why not? Anyway, so for this one I tried to layer the ink. So what I mean by that is that I used a lot of water at first, so I did a wash of blue ink, and then I went over the top with a more of a like a, I don't know, just more of a solid ink for the feathers, and it just gave it more of a feathered texture. And I'm really proud of that feathered hand holding that drumstick, because I really didn't think that was going to work, but yeah. Day 6, the prompt was drooling. So at first I was trying to toss up between a wolf and a fox to be drooling, and I settled with a fox because I had just the colors to suit it, because the yellow looked really orange. Now, for this one I used almost no water and exaggerated more of a shine on like his collar and stuff with a white pen to try and exaggerate the inky look to it. Really love this one. This one was probably one of my top favorites. Day 7, the prompt was exhausted. This one I ended up settling with a black and white girl, like a retail shop girl, in her uniform, exhausted from her job and pretty much exhausted from everything, because retail work can sometimes be very, very exhausting, just mentally and whatnot. Anyways, and the colors on the outside of her represent her crazy life, so she's just utterly exhausted from everything that's going on right now. So with the first week over, I'm quite proud of my progress. My top 2 faves of all of these drawings would have to be Spell with the spell book and Drooling because the fox. So the next post will be in 7 days for the next 7 days of Inktober. And once I upload it, I'll have a link at the end of this very end in the description to link toward it. And yeah, so this is my first 7 days of a proper Inktober using just proper ink and water. Which is pretty cool. It's pretty fun so far. Anyways, thanks for watching, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!